Hey, what's up, everybody? Agent 57, Mantroop, Guy, Samantha, and Mars. I hope y'all are having a fantastic weekend. Yeah, it is a weekend. For the first time, I didn't really have anywhere to go, and it was a day spent just taking care of stuff around the house. All right, let's get started. Sorry, I got a little distracted there. Wait, hold on. I don't know if I turned on the thing. All my computers went nuts again, as per tradition. All my computers at work respect me and operate functionally. All my computers at home are rebellious little turds. One sec. I gotta turn on something real quick. I guess we can actually get started on it. Let's see. What's up, everyone? Hang on. I gotta turn on the screen sharing program. Hey, there it goes. All right. Let's go. All right. I am just checking on something real quick because I think it is time to do a little bit of an update on the Ludus server because Ludus 2 is out. So I've shut down all the labs and we're going to see about updating it here. Yep, update this guy. Because I want to get this updated, and then I was thinking this weekend, I'm not really quite sure what I want to do about Hackbot yet. I'm still kind of working on the architecture and redesign of it. The MCP server seems to be pretty decent. Maybe we'll tinker around with that a little bit. But I think I want to try and let's tinker around with some Kubernetes tonight. I want to hack around on that for a little bit. Now, why did that not work? Hey, Rebo, thank you for the subscription. I just don't know why it didn't play the little sound. Something else to troubleshoot. That was weird. Why did that not work? Hang on, I'm going to try something real quick.
Welcome, Agent.
I mean, that worked. That's what it should have done. And the reason for that is because I set the bit buffer. Oh, I'm pointing like y'all can see it over here. Up here, where the bit buffer is, It's set to 500. So every time 500 bits worth of activity happens on the stream, it overflows and resets. And so every sub should count for at least that. Hey, Ben, what's up, man? Wow, the Ludus server's already done updating. Cool. Okay. Nice. And Kankies, what is shaking? All right, let me find something real quick here. Because there is something I was just looking at in here. All right. We'll take a look at this in just a second while the Kubernetes lab is deploying, but this is something one of the guys over on, who was that? I think Guy sent that over on Discord. Yeah, he did. So we'll take a look at this, Pent AGI. Which, that's kind of bold claim, but all right. Here we go. Let me pull this up real quick. So I was taking a look at this lab, thinking this might be one worth tinkering around with in here. Clone this repository into your Ludus system and run Ludus Kates. Okay. We can do that. Yeah, I mean, I saw you share earlier. I was just running around all day, and I hadn't had a chance to look at it. And so I wanted to take a look at it on stream here just a little bit. There we go. Okay. Maybe we'll just add a Kubernetes cluster over to Active Directory, over to the AD lab. In fact, we could even get, if we don't need to add this one, we could even do it here. Let's take a look at what it does. Ooh, this one can actually install BadPod, Cert Manager. If we wanted to really just hate ourselves, we could do a little Helm action in here. NFS client, okay, cool. Let's see. Actually, yeah, this is the one I was taking a look at, BadPod. Collection of pod manifests with overly permissive configurations created by Bishop Fox. The URL to each BadPod is indexed in the role and can be deployed to a specified namespace with the following variables. Boom. Nice. Nice. Okay. Oh, we could also just throw Kubernetes goat up there. Very cool. Okay. Yeah, so I'm trying to think how I want to put this together real quick. About Coolify? I do not recall Coolify, Guy, offhand. Let's see. Deploy via Helm. Deploy other roles. Oh, this is actually really cool. Augusta. Who made this? Swamp Fox. Do I know this person? I actually might know this guy. I know Andrew Luke. And he's one of the few people I know that has two first names. So it actually might be him. Coolify.io. Let me look at it. Oh yeah, you did show me this. Self-hosting with superpowers. With superpowers. Can't talk. Superpowers. Yeah. Yes, I do remember you showing this to me. I didn't look too deeply at it just because I haven't had a good use for it. Also, Danny Boy, thank you for coming online. Welcome in. I hope everybody is having a fantastic Saturday. I had, like I said, a pretty chill day. I was just taking care of stuff around the house. Stuff like trying to clean up the office, get my taxes done because tax deadline is rapidly approaching. So, yeah, I do remember. Okay, after I saw the self-hosting with superpowers, it came back to me. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah, let's go ahead and get this guy going. Maybe we'll just throw this into the AD lab. Let's do that. No reason to go spin up a new lab. We'll just throw this up in there. Let's see. So AD lab, what we'll need to do is let's copy this one, and what we'll do is we'll copy this over to, we'll call it the call it this, but we're gonna throw one more thing into it. K8s. There we go. And then what we'll do is let's go Vimify this good thing. Let's see, what IPs do we have used? We've got 15, 16. All right, we'll go add this into this range just for funsies in here. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. Let's do this. That's the roll vars. And what is this one? I forgot what I set this one aside for. Oh, that's just the dev box. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. Let's do this. Where's his example machine we might want to do here? Let's see. So in here he's using Ubuntu server, which I believe we could do. Cube type of node? I wonder what that is. Is this actually for deploying a node in there? What? Type of node front, control plane or worker node? Oh, got it. Okay. Yes, that is nice. Okay. Because it looks like control plane, which I think would be a master node technically. What, you have to go outside right now? Why couldn't you ask like 10 minutes ago? Peaches is killing me. Hang on one sec, guys. Let me go let her outside. I don't know what it is. The sun goes down, and every 45 minutes she wants to go out. You're killing me, Peaches. Hang on one sec, guys. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Where's the button? There's the button. All right. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, as soon as the sun goes down, every like 45 minutes to an hour, Peaches is like, I need to go outside right now. It's like, you are killing me, dog. Oh, interesting. You can even specify the network type of network to install. Flannel, Cube Writer, Calico, Weave. I thought I knew a decent amount about Kubernetes, but these are way different. Well, let's just start with the basic one up here. His very basic example. And in fact, these could be on VLAN 20, because I think everything right now is on VLAN 10. Yeah, we'll just throw them into a separate VLAN here. We'll have to adjust this one right here. The IP address is going to be different. I wonder if you could actually use the range ID in there. I'm going to try it. We'll see what happens. All right, hold on. I got to do this real quick. Let's set paste, and then we will drop this in, just like so. All right, so this will be our K8's control plane. This will be our worker node. And I think this will actually work right here. Adjusting this. I think if I just double wrap that, and I think if we use... actually, let me undo that, because I don't want to undo the entire thing here. Let's see. Let's put this into some double quotes. And let's see. This is... range ID VLAN. So this one right here, this would be the range ID. So I believe it would be like this. Range ID. Oh, there we go. So now what this will do is, because every one of these is going to change. If we need to hard code it, it's fine. I think it's like range 9. It'll work. Let's see. Now there is one more thing he had in here. Deploy bad pod. Maybe I want to do it. Actually, let's try kubegot's. The Kubernetes goat. And then while this is deploying, we'll go look at it. We'll go check out the other stuff in here. To get the portal set up, SSH to the front node. Okay, so if we need to do this on the front node, then what we'll have to do is just go set this up on this one right here. There we go. That should be good. And then we can SSH to our front node, and I think that would be good. Because Kubernetes Goat would be a good thing to run through. I have not been through Kubernetes Goat. I don't think ever. I've been through a lot of Kubernetes stuff. And I've got a client that has a huge Kubernetes environment. So I was like, you know what? I need to go back and bust out all the cobwebs. Because I think it's probably been... It's been at least a year since I had to really heavily go get after Kubernetes. But before that, it was even like a year or two before that as well. So I was like, I want to bust out some of the cobwebs and get refreshed on it. Let's see. So what are some of the scenarios in here? Sensitive keys in a code base, Docker and Docker exploits, SSRF. Ooh, nice. Container escapes to the host. Docker CIS and Kubernetes CIS benchmarks. Okay. Private registry attacks, Helm, Tiller to pwn the cluster. Oh, that one's deprecated. Okay. Let's see. Kubernetes namespace bypasses, environment information. Denial of service to memory. Let's not do that one. No. Ooh, I wonder what hidden layers is. That looks good. Get started. How do we actually... Let's see. Actually, yeah, this is good. We'll run through this because a lot of this is stuff that I know I'm familiar with, but most people won't be. If you're not familiar with what Kubernetes is... Hey, Band, what's up, brother? If you're not familiar with what Kubernetes is basically like a hyperscaler version of Docker Compose, right? And so it's used to orchestrate a lot of systems, especially like up in AWS. I think GCP has their own version, but honestly, nobody uses GCP. So, but yeah, and so the company I'm currently doing a penetration test for works very heavily on Kubernetes. So Hey, Blue Bug, what's up, man? Learning Python right now, getting heavy into bug bounties and cybersecurity. Very nice. Very nice. Excellent. Python is actually a really good first language to go with. I struggle with this because Python does have a really low barrier to entry for if it's your first language. But also, if you go from something like Python to a strongly typed language, something like C Sharp or C++, or even just good old-fashioned C, or Go, or Rust, it could be a real big pain going from kind of like, questionably typed stuff in Python to like very strictly typed variables and everything else in those. So I would say one of the things to work on, Bluebug, is make sure you're using those Python type hints. And so they don't enforce anything, but they'll get you working with the idea like, oh, this variable should be like an integer, a string, or an instance of this class or whatever. I found that was super helpful whenever I was doing a lot of Python heavy stuff. Yeah. See, I don't know if I ever really messed with MyPy band. I think you mentioned it to me, but I mostly just stuck with the type hints, and then when the IDE yelled at me, then I'd go fix it. Hey, Bobby, what's up, dude? All right, let's see. So to install kubegoats, this installs it here. So we SSH into the front node, and then we will chmod the script, run it, and then we go access our portal on the front node IP. Okay, cool. So I think I added that already over to the config. Did I? I did. Okay, let's double check something real quick. Yep. Making sure the YAML syntax is good. And then let's load this guy up. I think the command is ludus config set tac f. Oh, it's ludus range config. I was like, what's the problem here? There we go. Template not found. Oh, we don't have that template. Dang it. Let's see. Ludus template. Let me see. Unable to get user packer templates. Oh no. Do I need to reboot the server? That will make me sad. Because we just did the Ludus 2 update. Oh, you know what? The update might not be done yet because I forgot it has to do a... What's it called? It's got to do a database migration because they changed the backend database for it. Hold on. Let's go check this real quick. See, tac, do this admin. Actually, it says it's done. Migration, they moved from SQLite to another thing called Pocket Base. So the migration is dunzos. Which I'm not surprised. I would have thought it would have taken... I wouldn't have thought it would have caused any trouble in the end. So Ludus version is 2. Is that a database in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me? I'm just happy to see you, band. If your boyfriend can't code in a strongly typed language, you've got yourself a girlfriend. That's funny, again. Alright, I hear you. Be quiet. No, stop. I'm testing a timer for something. There we go. Yeah, that joke was not very select, was it? Dirk, please tell me that was one of your own, though. So Blue. By the way, you're talking about if you wanted to get do some more like work on web apps and taking certifications. I always recommend anybody who's wanting to start working into the offensive security space go to the Portswigger Academy. So the Portswigger Academy is like a free resource. It's going to teach you how to use Burp Suite Community Edition and start learning the ins and outs of different vulnerability classes and how to exploit them in web applications. And it's one of the best getting started and actually more advanced ones out there because it's going to take you through some pretty deep topics. So if you haven't looked at that, highly recommend it. Okay, why is this not Ludus groups list? Okay. Ludus templates list. Error from server. Unable to get template status array. I wonder what happened there. Let me just try status. No builds in progress. Migration did not fail. I'm just double checking the troubleshooting docs real quick, just to see if so the migration doesn't look like it failed. Let's see. Error reading range config file for the root user. Why were you trying to read that? But anyway, it said the... Oh, right there, yeah. Migration from SQLite to Pocket-Base completed successfully. So we didn't have any errors. Actually, hold on. There was one error. Range config file for user root. Well, that's because we don't deploy anything as the root user. Okay, hang on. Let me try this from another one here. Yep, I hear you. Let's see. Let's try it. Let me try it from here. Ludus templates list. Okay. So I used to do everything kind of from the root user in here as the Ludus admin. Doesn't seem to like that. Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. We can do this in here. However, I think this is where it is. Yeah, because the one we need is this 2204 server. Yeah. 2204 x64 server template. Let's try it. Let's see if I can add it. Ludus templates. I believe it's add tac d Ubuntu 2204. Okay, that sucks. What's that? I forget the command. Is it just get upstream? Maybe it's get status. I forget what the one is to find the... it's fine. I don't need this. Let me just swap over to AD Lab here. Let's see. It's over in GitLab. Yeah, there it is. Let me just grab this real quick. Code. Nope, go back. There we go. We'll just git clone it down. We'll do that. Well, git pull would pull it banned, but I need it actually over in a different user context. So I was trying to find, I forget what the git command is to list the source repo or the upstream. This would have been just the source, but, or actually origin. That would have been the origin is what I wanted to pull, but it should be fine. All right, so Ludus, templates, Ubuntu, there we go. Actually, hold on, I need to go back. Ludus, templates at the Ubuntu 2204. There we go. I think we can now just build it. Let's see. I want to check out the EWPT and the EWPTX. Let's see. A couple of things for mobile penetration testing. So I made an entire roadmap and Portswigger's part of that. Nice. I would say make sure Portswigger's like just in the beginning of that. I think that's pretty cool. I haven't actually not done a lot of mobile penetration testing either. I got some buddies who are very good at it and they really enjoy it. I did not enjoy it. It was a pain, especially if you're trying to do iOS. There are things to do with it, but it feels like a lot of drudgery to just get spun up to where you can actually begin the assessment. All right. I like the idea of mobile band, but the actual execution of it, ugh. Almost. Don't jump the gun, 57. That's coming. Let me see. I forget what the one is. Let me get the exact name of it. So it should be this one right here. Yeah, that's the one I want. And then I believe the command is going to be ludus templates build. There we go. Cool. So that is building. Once the template is finished building, then we can actually go work on deploying the addition to the lab. I guess we can go ahead and power the lab back on. Let's see. Ludus power on. Forget what this one is. There we go. Yeah. Go ahead and power on all the different VMs in there. Am I in shape for the Murph now? Oh god, no. No, but I have started doing this one thing, and oh man, it's amazing. Like, a lot of my brain fog has cleared up, and I've been feeling like actually not like my eyes are just going to droop out of my head. I guess the colloquial term for it is sleep. And yeah, it's been a game changer.
You have a limited range of what you can hear. So it starts about 20 hertz, goes up to about 20 kilohertz, and then you're into dog whistle range.
Oh yeah. Not sponsored by Jocko yet.
And outside of that, you can't really hear anything. But inside of that, you can pretty much hear stuff.
Sleep is for the weak. Now, I agree with you with a big caveat there, Band. Because my workout routine has been gotten absolutely BTFO'd for like the last 2 years. If after about a month of exercising, or maybe 2 months exercising, then yeah, actually, ironically enough, I can actually cut back on my sleep a little bit. So it's a weird kind of double-ended sword there, where if I'm exercising and wearing myself out more, I get accustomed to that again, then I actually don't have to sleep as much. It's wild. Let's see.
Your brain,
I want to check the status.
you would think that you would hear a different thing, but you don't. Now this one, and I'm going to
Building. Okay, so that one's still building.
You hear things that.
Let me skip that song. There we go. Yeah, and one thing I've noticed, 57, is my heart rate has been a little elevated since I have stopped working out. Like when I would sleep, my heart rate was around like 48 to 50, and now it's been regularly around like 52 to 53, been right about there. So Yeah, I've noticed that doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a big difference in figuring out like how much volume your heart's actually moving. All right. That's right. While this is building, let's go look at Pent AGI real quick. Let's go see what this is. Pent AGI, Advanced AI-Powered Penetration Testing. Fully autonomous AI agent that performs complicated penetration testing tasks using terminal, browser, editor, and external search system. I'll tell you what, hang on. Me. Why did that stop the music? There we go. Is desktop audio on? There it goes. All right, let's see.
Welcome to Pent AGI, fully autonomous AI for penetration testing. Security testing today is slow, expensive, and requires rare expertise.
I'm not slow, thank you.
Companies struggle to test their systems regularly, while skilled security testers are hard to find and harder to keep.
Well, yeah, it's a hard to define skill. It takes a lot of nonlinear thinking. I don't think so. I posted something up on Discord Blue, and I know you're probably not in there, but feel free to hop in. It's from Daniel Miesler, and I think the problem is people are looking at it's going to replace people when actually a lot of the stuff is going to replace jobs and create new ones. And yeah, it really does take a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. And it's one of the things I both love and hate about it, Band, because it feels like I have knowledge about a lot of things, but not like deep knowledge about certain things, right? I call it knowledge fracture because it feels like almost like lightning, right? I am following what I need to know, in some cases spidering out, until I ground out the signal and get the exploit to work. Boosh! Yeah. And so I do love that because I get to learn new things, but I also hate it because then it's like, okay, cool. I've learned what I needed to accomplish the objective, and now I got to move on to something else. Yeah, you just focus on what you need to know at the time. Exactly. Anyway, I want to see what the little marketing video here says.
Pent AGI solves this problem. It's an AI platform that runs security tests automatically, like having a team of expert pen testers.
So what do they got here? Browser integration, text, modern UI. Maybe we'll throw this up and play with it.
Working for you around the clock. Getting started is simple. Our installer walks you through everything. Choose your AI provider: OpenAI, Anthropic, Google Gemini, AWS Bedrock, or run everything locally with Olema for complete privacy.
Did this chick really just say ulama? Could you not even go proofread or like, I guess, proof listen to your AI? It's olama. It is o-lama. O and a lama. Ulame. But all I'm doing is I'm poking fun at this video that's like an overview of Pent AGI. Which is funny because I like poking fun at it because that's also one of the projects I'm normally working on. But I'm also going through and doing a big rewrite of it. And so I'm curious to see what other folks are doing too. So I like poking fun at it because also it's like, guys, come on, we keep talking about the AI slop and you might have made something really cool. But then when you do stuff like this, you kind of just put like an AI like slop, veneer on it.
The installer takes care of the rest, setting up containers, databases, and security settings. No complex manual configuration needed. So how does it work? Pent AGI uses 13 specialized AI agents working as a team. Think of them as virtual security experts, each with their own role. The orchestrator is like the team leader. It takes your request and creates a testing plan.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So we have our orchestrator, pen tester, searcher, coder. but then they have a refiner and then send it to a different orchestrator. I'm wondering how this workflow works.
Then specialist agents take over. The pentester runs security tools. The searcher finds information online. The coder writes custom exploits when needed. They share what they find and adjust their approach in real time. Let me show you a real example. A security engineer types a simple request. Test this website for SQL injection. PentAGI immediately starts working. It scans for open ports, identifies the technology stack, and tests database inputs. The agents check their memory for similar past tests, search for the latest attack techniques, and run professional tools like Nmap and SQL Map.
Professional tools. It's always Nmap. It's always just Nmap. I have a theory that Nmap is like turtles. It's like everything is just Nmap under the hood. Exploit developer coder. Guess I'll be out of a job soon. Not for what you're doing, man. Although I think a lot of the folks that worry about that, though, Band, like, you're in even a different position than what I'm in, but you understand the position I'm currently in, right? And I think a lot of them are kind of still sleeping on this. I'm like, guys, we should be working on ways to like use this. This is a new tool to leverage. And what happens every time a new tool comes out? We find a way to make it work for us. We find a way to break it. A lot of people are focusing on breaking and not so much the making side. So I don't want to give people who are working on tools like this too much crap. But at the same time, I do want to go see what they're doing and like poke fun at it and like see where things are kind of going and where they might falter in here. Because I've been doing this now professionally in offensive security for 8 years. You average probably about, from my old job, it's different from my current job, but I'd say industry average is a pen test every 2 weeks. So if you take 2 weeks off, you're at 50 weeks a year, you're at 25 pen tests a year, right? That is not an unreasonable number there. You could even round it down maybe a little bit to 20, okay? So let's say I've just done 20 a year. And so over 8 years, I've done 160 penetration tests. Now, even that, I know that number is low because there were some years that I didn't take a break and I literally was doing one every 1 to 2 weeks. And there were some times I was doubling and tripling up. So thankfully, my new company, we don't do that, but still. Double booking, yeah. Well, it was a weird situation, Ben, because we had a lot of the senior people from my team. Because of basically a corporate restructuring, they got huge payouts. Not to go into detail about that, I got one too, but they decided to take that and roll it into something else. And so they deuced and were gone. So like I lost like the entire senior staff and I all of a sudden started running the team. Like they had no one else to manage and run the team. And so our visibility and our financial tracking was very opaque at that job. So I could never tell if my team was flush. Like, are we in the green? Where are we? Are in the black? Is like, where are we in this? Or like, is my team losing money? So I was definitely afraid to turn down work. And I also did not want to go overloading the team. So I just ended up doing it. And so I was running the team. I was running all the financials, taking care of the team, doing the sales because we didn't trust the salespeople, doing the penetration tests, and then doing other penetration, like multiple. It was a very rough time. It was right around the time Honey Badger was born. Like literally he was born and then bam, all this stuff kicked off. So it was a kind of unique situation. 7 out of 10, don't recommend. Yeah. When you say penetration tests, you actually do damage? No. So when you're doing a penetration test, there's usually 2 types of it there. And then you could even say third type there. So first one I call it a smash and grab. Your job is to go in and just assess the network and find every vulnerability you can, and you're not worried about setting off any detection systems. The second kind in there would be more like an objective-driven penetration test. And that one, you're going through and you're trying to achieve a certain state in the environment. Like you're getting domain admin, or you are trying to access a critical system in their environment that if something was to happen to it, it could either leak horrible information for the company like crown jewels, or they could possibly cause like some kind of catastrophic event to the network. So, and the third kind of there is, and again, penetration test, so you're not worried about any kind of stealth requirement. But the third kind would be then red team, where it is like a penetration test, objective driven, right? You're trying to achieve an objective in the environment, but also not get caught. So those are the three. Those are kind of like the three types in there. I did not start doing type 3 until I was at my current company. I did types 1 and 2 a lot back in the day. So the whole goal was not to tear the company up, but it was also to tell them, hey, by the way, this is where we got to. Here's what a bad guy could do. Not saying I didn't inadvertently knock a few systems offline and maybe just hit them with my elbow, metaphorically spill some coffee on the keyboard. That kind of stuff did happen, but it was actually really rare. This be white hat or gray hat? I don't know. Purple hat. I like purple. There we go.
All of this happens automatically with
Let's see what
full
they're doing with their
visibility
SQL
into
injection
every step. Here's what makes PentAGI unique. It learns from experience. Every successful test, every useful technique, every solution to a problem gets saved in memory.
Now, see, that part's interesting because sometimes the memory can also introduce a blind spot. That's something I'm curious about whenever people are talking about agentic memory systems, especially when it comes to penetration testing, for two reasons. One, a lot of times everybody who's working in offensive security has like a preferred tool that they're using. And I'd say you probably have about a 50-50 chance of that tool, your favorite tool, not working in a client environment, especially when like you're switching to different environments. So you always have to have at least one backup tool. So I'd be curious to see like what happens if this system is running and it gets into a loop where it's like, oh yeah, netexec just works every time. And then one time netexec doesn't work and it doesn't realize it doesn't work because it can't kind of correlate the data. Now I've seen the AI agents do some like really interesting correlation. I've also seen them make very false assumptions about things and you have to go correct them. So is this going to be like, could you take somebody from the bus stop and put them behind this and let them run? No. Could you maybe potentially use this for somebody who is a lower level penetration tester and has an idea of what's going on and make them more effective? Possibly. We'll see. I wish I could learn from experience because my life would be so much easier. Dude, there's some lessons, Ken. My wife says, look, hey, you know that doesn't work. I was like, yeah, I forgot. I had to repay my tuition. That's what I tell her.
When agents face similar situations later, they remember what worked before and use those proven methods.
I'd be curious to see what their memory
This makes the
system looks like.
gets smarter and faster with every test you run. Security is our priority. Every test runs in a completely isolated container with strict security boundaries. Multiple users can work at the same time without any interference. For large deployments, you can separate the control interface from the scanning workers. Put scanners directly in your network segments while keeping management centralized and secure.
I do like that approach.
Enterprise teams
The same one
need
Mythic
visibility.
uses.
PentAGI connects with Langfuse to track all AI operations. See every agent decision, monitor resource usage, and control costs. The system
That's
also
kinda cool.
includes performance monitoring, distributed tracing, and centralized logging. Everything is transparent and auditable. You control how PentAGI operates. Use cloud providers like OpenAI for maximum power. Deploy local models through Allima for complete privacy.
There it is, Ultima. I was waiting for it. Ultima. I was just curious to see like seamless integration. I'm just kind of skipping through the rest of the video. I want to see what else they got going on here. It looks really interesting. Now the code for it is actually up on GitHub. Here, I'll drop a link to it over in the chat for anybody. Ultima Thurman. I know, right? Let's see. What's the deployment like? Quick start. Let's see. That was less than useful. I hate this. I know a lot of people like to use this one, but this is the most annoying. Like, oh yeah, here, click the buttons. No, let me click and drag. It is the year of our Lord 2026. Click and drag should work in a browser. What do we need? We need Docker and Docker Compose. Using the installer. We could actually go take this and throw it up into the dev box up in the AD lab if we wanted to go mess with it. I think I have. Hang on one second. How many credits do I have over in OpenRouter? Got $29. Maybe we'll do that. We could point it over to OpenRouter. We could test it. Ulama Thurman. I'm still gonna laugh about that, man. Ulama. Ulama. I'm never gonna unhear it now. Manual install. Don't want to do that. You know what? Let's do this. Well, actually, I can't right now because I forgot. We're waiting for this thing to build. Let's see. Okay, so that's built now. Let's see. What was the... Oh, I didn't add the role. I'm an idiot. Wait, where is it? Did I have it up here? Let me see. That's KubeGoats. Here we go. Ah, here we go. I need to... I forgot. I gotta add the Ansible role to it. There we go. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just go git clone it then. I don't feel like dealing with that. Git clone. And then what was the command to install the role locally? Yeah, there we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Wonder how it'd do against Goad. We could always go spin up a Goad lab, Bobby, and let it try it. Now, one of the things that I think a lot of these don't do, I'm trying to think of ones that I remember that do it, is I don't think very many of them integrate with a command and control framework. I think there maybe have been a couple, but I don't recall which ones offhand. For the most part, a lot of times when we see these like AI-powered penetration testing systems, they either focus on box in the network, right? You might call them Dropbox penetration testing, where they're directly connected to the network, or they have some kind of direct network line of sight to something. And this one, I'm curious to see kind of like what it does. So maybe we'll go throw it up in the dev box here in just a second. All right, let me see if I can set the config now. I just added the role though. What is it? Ludus. Ansible role list. I think that's the command. Ludus Cates, it's right there. Boop. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Hold on, let me see. Which one did I... Yeah, Ludus Cates. Ludus Cates. Right there. Oh, maybe this is a new bug with version 2. All right, let me try something real quick here. Maybe we can do a little bit of... Okay, let me list again. Get the fresh list here. And then let's remove Ludus Cates out of here. And then let's CD over to Ludus Cates and maybe we can... Oh, was that the imp? That, oh my... If that's it, band, I'm gonna be pissed at myself. Hold on. Oh god, what is going on here? There we go. Freaking underscores and tags. There we go. All right. Damn it. Thank you, band. See, I don't even need Chat GPT. I just have chat. And the better thing about chat is chat cannot wait to tell me exactly where I screwed up and how badly. Versus like Chat GPT or Claude, I gotta go ask for help. I don't even have to ask. Chat's just like, you suck. You should have done it this way. Freaking underscores, noob. What? It's right there. Okay, there we go. All right, Ludus, range, deploy. Ludus range logs. Let's follow that real quick. Actually, I think, are all the machines still off? Oh, they are still off. Okay. I'm curious what it'll do here. With them powered off, will it just power them back on? ChatGPT would be like, dash isn't an underscore, bruh. That'd be funny, because I don't know if I don't use ChatGPT too much. I've been meaning to go tinker with it. I just started with Anthropic, and so that one is the one I use for anytime I'm doing kind of work. Honestly, I use Grok as a kind of like search engine replacement. It's better than Google, funny enough, so. All right, what is it doing here? VM 119. I think it should be intelligent enough to kind of see what's going on with it. Okay, we'll let that run for just a second. I want to power it on. I wish I had actually powered on the lab beforehand, because then we could have gone into dev and started deploying it. But so what, let's take a look at some of what they've got for this thing while the lab is spinning up real quick. So the installer requires appropriate privileges to interact with the Docker API. By default, uses Docker socket. Let's see, you can do environment setup, provider configuration, search engine. So we'll have to go through and configure all of these. Yay. Security hardening, generate secure credentials and configure SSL certificates. Let me see, do they have... So you define a task, you does an AI analysis, automates pen testing, real-time monitoring, results in reporting. Hey look, they support Ulama. Ulama. Oh, yeah, it's not Ulama, it's just Ulama. It sounds like, now that I think about it, kind of sounds like, what's his name? Rocky. Sylvester Stallone. Hey, guys, you gotta run that AI with that Ulama. You tried the Ulama? Yeah, I hear Ulama is not as fast as Llama, Llama CPP. But, I kind of like it because the name Ulama is fun to say. You know what I'm saying? That'd be funny, make a fork of Olama and call it Oh My Llama. Which resource are you using, Blue? The install is pretty straightforward. I was wondering if they had like any docs in here. Let's see. GitHub repo, Discord, Telegram. I'm not saying things look shady when you have a Telegram group, but they kind of look shady when you have a Telegram group. Telegram's just so full of scammers. I wanted to see like if they had any other like documentation here. Maybe it's built into the application. Like I don't see a wiki or anything else on here. Oh wait, that's because I'm looking in the wrong thing. I'm an idiot. Hold on. Oh, speaking of which, hold on. This just reminded me of something. Ultraviolet repo GitHub. So if you did not hear about this, OpenAI just bought Astral. And these are the guys that make Ultraviolet, which is my preferred package manager for just about everything that I do that's Python based. So it was just done with this, right? And then if we come down and we look at something in here, yeah, so I find it so funny that this is what's in here, and they just got bought by OpenAI. Yeah, in fact, when the announcement was made, let's look at the commit history in here. Because the announcement was just made yesterday, and this was the latest commit when they made that announcement. Now, I also don't know if Codex adds itself like Claude does, but that still cracks me up. Using the book A Smarter Way to Learn Python. I have not seen that book. There is another one. I don't know if you've seen this one. Automate the Boring Stuff with Python. So this is another good one that I've seen, and I didn't read through it in depth. I kind of read through it briefly, Blue, but this is another one that you might go check out on just how to do stuff with Python. Now, granted, I've done a lot of programming. I took my first programming class hold on, 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. And I have tinkered with it ever since, and I've worked in probably a dozen different languages, not real deeply, usually like just modifying and hacking on code. So I had a little bit different background than maybe if you're coming from an experience where you haven't done a lot of programming in the past. But one of the things I like doing is I just go start building something for fun, and then figure out how to do it. The biggest thing that I think might be the biggest challenge, and something I still struggle with a lot, is learning what's called asynchronous coding. And that is where you have the program, instead of doing one thing at a time, you have it actually split out and do multiple things. And then you kind of bring all that stuff back together. Or when certain events happen in one of those processes, you bring it back. Spend a little bit extra time on that because it will pay big dividends. I've actually been meaning to go back and relearn proper asynchronous coding for Python myself. Let's see. But they've even got like, I think most of the stuff in here. Yeah, like practically the entire book is on the site here. So here, I'll drop this in chat for anybody who would like that. My mouse, there it is. All right. Let's go check in on Ludus and see how it's doing. All right, cool. Now we actually did have an error. I'll be curious to see what that was. I think it was the site server had some kind of an error for SCCM. I don't think it was a breaker for it, but it would be kind of cool to maybe put something in here in the lab that allows it to start getting into maybe some of these other systems. So like we could go add a user into AD, and maybe that user has access to the workstation, and then let it kind of work through there, see what it could find. It'd be kind of a fun little experiment. Let's see what else they've got in here. That's cute. That's cute goats. This actually was the original goal of the stream, so I guess let's take a look at this real quick. So, in Kubernetes Goat, we have our master node, which will have our API server, also the control managers and schedules. And then down here, these are their worker nodes. So the worker nodes will be the ones actually deploying the pods. The master node up here is the one just controlling the workers. It's the one you actually interact with, and you can have multiple masters, you can have multiple workers. It's meant to scale horizontally, right? So for example, Kubernetes kind of shines when you've got a situation where, let's say you've got your website built as part of a load balanced front end for your website, right? And then something happens, I don't know, maybe Joe Rogan talks about it, and then your site just blows up. If you have something like auto scaling enabled, then what it could do is, let's say each of these pods that's in here represents one of your web servers. And then you could have it say, oh, we're getting slammed, spin up new servers. And then it can just start popping new ones online as that utilization just, spikes through the roof. It could also do it in the opposite. You could look, it can go through and scale down whenever it says, oh, hey, we're not seeing a lot of traffic, so we're going to scale it back. We're just going to have like a couple of pods instead of 50. The illustrated children's book to Kubernetes. That's awesome. Pippi and her friends explain the core concepts of Kubernetes in simple terms. That is awesome. Hold on, how long is this video? Maybe we'll go watch it just for fun. It's only about 8 minutes. Okay, maybe we'll check that out. That looks really funny. Let me see how the server deployment's going. All right, it's still working. Sure, so as a refresher for this, this is hilarious. The Illustrated Children's Guide to Kubernetes.
The other day, my daughter sidled into my office and asked me, "Dearest father, whose knowledge is incomparable, what is Kubernetes?" All right, that's a little bit of a paraphrase, but you get the idea. And I responded, "Kubernetes is an open source orchestration system for Docker containers. It handles scheduling onto nodes in a compute cluster and actively manages workloads to ensure that their state matches the user's declared intentions. Using the concepts of labels and pods, it groups the containers which make up an application into logical units for easy management and discovery." And my daughter said to me, "Huh?"
I think my daughter addressed me that exactly the same way. I know, right? I do like the intro to this. It's like, hey, here's the actual explanation, and then we'll break it down.
And so I give you the Illustrated Children's Guide to Kubernetes.
I love the giraffe.
Once upon a time, there was an app named Phippy, and she was a simple app. She was written in PHP and had just one page. She lived on a hosting provider, and she shared her environment with scary other apps that she didn't know and didn't care to associate with. She wished she had her own environment, just her and a web server she could call home.
Poor Pippi. Big scary
An app
internet.
has an environment that it relies upon to run. For a PHP app, that environment might include a web server, a readable file system, and the PHP engine itself. One day, a kindly whale came along. He suggested that little Phippy might be happier living in a container.
That's not a
And so
seaworthy
the
boat.
app moved, and the container was nice, but it was a little bit like having a fancy living room floating in the middle of the ocean.
Not a seaworthy vessel.
A container provides an isolated context in which an app, together with its environment, can run. But those isolated containers often need to be managed and connected to the external world. Shared file systems, networking, scheduling, load balancing, and distribution are all challenges.
So hold on, let me go back here just a second. So what he's showing right here is this would be like an individual Docker container. And also, this is a good point. The data's got to persist somewhere. By default, all these containers are kind of isolated. They will have like outbound network connections, but even that's through a specialized Docker network as they're happening here. And then Kubernetes is just an abstraction layer on top of Docker, essentially. So in Docker, your base unit of work is your container. But in Kubernetes, your base unit of work is going to be your pod, which is a collection of containers. So it's just taking everything and like dialing the complexity up a notch.
Scheduling, load balancing, and distribution are all challenges. The whale shrugged his shoulders. "Sorry, kid," he said, and disappeared beneath the ocean's surface.
Rude.
But before Fippy could even begin to despair, a captain appeared on the horizon piloting a gigantic ship. The ship was made of dozens of rafts all lashed together, but from the outside, it looked like one giant boat.
It'd be funny if it was a pirate. I'm not high enough for this. I love this. This is amazing. I'm gonna make Agent Zero watch it, and he's gonna be like, "Daddy, you haven't even taught me how to type on the computer properly." It's like, I know.
"Hello there, friend PHP app. My name is Captain Kubi," said the wise old captain. Kubernetes is the Greek word for a ship's captain. We get the words cybernetic and gubernatorial from it. Led by Google, the Kubernetes...
So I did not know this about the Greek, and also I don't know when gubernatorial entered the lexicon, but I think it was about the time Arnold Schwarzenegger was the governor of California. PHP app.
Kubernetes project focuses
This was also
on
9
a
years ago,
robust
Bobby.
platform for running thousands of containers in production. "I'm Fippy," said the little app. "Nice to make your acquaintance," said the captain as he slapped a name tag on her.
Oh, you gave him a label.
Kubernetes uses labels as name tags to identify things, and it can query based on these labels. Labels are open-ended. You can use them to indicate roles, stability, or other important attributes.
So yeah, this video was from 9 years ago, and I'm surprised because it's so damn funny that I'm surprised it hasn't gotten more views from that. This is amazing. I love everything about this video.
Captain Kubi suggested that the app might like to move her container into a pod aboard the ship. Fippy happily moved to Kub's giant boat, and it felt like home.
That is until they start putting you on the oars. Row, Fippy, row!
In Kubernetes, a pod represents a runnable unit of work. Usually, you will run a single container inside of a pod, but for cases where a few containers are tightly coupled, you may opt to run more than one container inside of the same pod. Kubernetes takes on the work of connecting your pod to the network and the rest of the Kubernetes ecosystem. Fippy had some unusual interests. She was really into genetics and sheep, and so she asked the captain, what if I want to clone myself on demand any number of times? "Well, that's easy," said the captain, and he introduced her to the replication controllers.
This has the makings of a children's horror story now. Can I just clone myself? Actually, there was a hilarious movie with Michael Keaton about that. Damn, what was that movie? Michael Keaton cloning movie. What's that one called? Multiplicity. That was actually a really funny movie. If you hadn't seen that. He basically he doesn't clone himself, but he he gets the help of like this bad scientist and they do it. Fun classic.
Replication controllers provide a method for managing an arbitrary number of pods. A replication controller contains a pod template which can be replicated any number of times. Through the replication controller, Kubernetes will manage your pod's life cycle.
It was a good
including
movie,
scaling
57.
up and down, rolling deployments, and monitoring.
No, Ken. The boat is not headed to Epstein's Island. Please, no boats with cloning capabilities. Please do not go there.
For many days and nights, the little app was happy with her pod and happy with her replicas. But only having yourself for company is not all it's cracked up to be, even if it is N copies of yourself. Captain Kubi smiled benevolently. I have just the thing, he said. No sooner had he spoken than a tunnel opened between Fippy's replication controller and the rest of the ship. With a hearty laugh, Captain Kubi said, even when your clones come and go, this tunnel will stay here so you can discover other pods and they can discover you.
So in this analogy, when the clones come or go, that just means they're like just executing all these little giraffes. And poor Fippy's not going to know if Fippy's the original Fippy. That's like, what's his name? Twice. I think it was Twice from My Hero Academia. He went insane because he could make these like duplicates of himself, and he wasn't sure if he was the original one. So he wouldn't clone himself. He would only like basically like make duplicates of other people. And that's where I'm seeing this going. Like, did we kill the original Fippy? Oh, what's it matter? It's a clone. Oh God.
A service tells the rest of Kubernetes' environment, including other pods and replication controllers, what services your application provides. While pods may come and go, the IP address and ports of your service remain
what services
the
you
same.
provide is
And
not
other applications
is not
can
helping
find your
the Epstein
service through
analogy.
Kubernetes' service discovery. Thanks to the services, Fippy began to explore the rest of the ship.
Oh, it's a gopher.
It wasn't long before Fippy met Goldie, and they became the best of friends. One day, Goldie did something extraordinary. She gave Fippy a present. Fippy took one look, and the saddest of sad tears escaped her eyes. Why are you so sad? Asked Goldie. Oh,
Well, because you just stole all my crypto, Goldie.
Love the present, but I have nowhere to put it, sniffled Fippy. But Goldie knew what to do. Why not put it in a volume? A volume represents a location where containers can access and store information. For the application, the volume appears as part of the local file system.
I was wondering where he was going with that. Okay, so hold on. Let me compose myself. I don't know why this is so damn funny to me. But yeah, this is what we were talking about, right? If you've got all these pods and they need to be able to share something, they're all isolated. Like they look like they've got their own file system inside the containers, right? So even amongst containers, the volumes can be mapped to a pod, and then the pod can then, I think, map them to the containers, if I remember correctly. And so this is how these various pods could actually share information back and forth. They could also do it over networking, which essentially is just going to be data transfer in RAM, but it's going to follow a networking protocol. That's too funny. I don't have anywhere to put the present. This is not helping the previous aforementioned island analogy.
But volumes may be backed by local storage, Ceph, Gluster, Elastic Block Storage, and a number of other storage backends. Fippy loved life aboard Captain Kubi's ship, and she enjoyed the company of her new friends. Every replicated pod of Goldie was equally delightful. But as she thought back to her days on the scary hosted provider, she began to wonder if perhaps she could also have a little privacy. Sounds like what you need, said Captain Kubi, is a namespace. A namespace functions as a grouping mechanism inside of Kubernetes. Services, pods, replication controllers, and volumes can easily cooperate within a namespace, but the namespace provides a degree of isolation from the other parts of the cluster. Together with her new friends, Phippie sailed the seas on Captain Kubi's great boat. She had many grand adventures, but most importantly, Phippie had found her home. And so Phippie lived happily ever after. The end.
Oh, man. I unironically loved everything about that. That was awesome. All right, let's see here. What scenarios do we have in here? Sensitive code base. Awesome. All right, let's check on the cluster. Let's see how it did. Okay, so one thing still failed. Oh, interesting. Okay, so one thing failed on site server. Unhandled exception. Forced GP update on OUs. What's on site server? Hang on. Let's see. Cert server. We disabled the firewall. It's got the ADCS role. I wonder what it was trying to do on that one. Because as far as I know, the only one that is... So the DC is not managed by SCCM. Workstation is. I don't know if that role is sitting there trying to enroll all of the machines in the environment into SCCM. Because that's another kind of bad practice. But that's kind of the point of the lab here. Phippie's name was in the redacted files. Oh no. Oh no. Redacted on the file system. Why does it say skipped 50? I'm not even sure. Wait, did it not add the new ones in here? Hold on, let's come over here. So we have dev over here. Ah, yeah, we do. We've got our Kate's control plane and our Kate's node 1. All right, cool. Let's see. Ludus range list. Let's take a look at it real quick. Just make sure we're seeing everything. Okay, cool. We do see these in here. They're in a separate VLAN, which is totes fine. Deployment status error. And what was that error that we had? During task execution, see the full traceback use trickle feed. Error was at script block file 38. Damn it. Computer cert server's not responding. I tell you, let's go get into that box real quick, because this was from... Let me close that. We're not using that right now. So this came from the site server. Let's go get into the site server real fast. Site server. Here we go. What is this? This is horrible. That's all right. I just need to check the terminal real quick. Ping cert server. Yeah, it came up. Should be fine. Let's see. Here, I have an actual proper RDP connection set up for cert server. Let's just make sure the firewall is turned off on it. Why are you green? This background is supposed to be red. firewall is on. You're supposed to be off. Turn off. Okay. Public networks. Turn you off too. There we go. Now it's red? Was it changing colors because of the firewall status? I don't know. Let's go see. Can we... Let's see. We click in here. Run PowerShell. Let's see. I think it's... Ah, damn it. I hit tab too soon. What is it? PS remote? Remember what the actual command is. Enter PS session. New PS session. There we go. I don't remember what the command was. Let's do this. We'll do... I can't really make this any bigger. Actually, I can. Hold on. We'll do this. This is the SCCM site server. Let me close that out. Let's just do this instead. So site server is 10.9.10.15. Here, let's do this. Duplicate. This will be the site server. And this will be 15. Right? It was 15, right? Yeah, 10.9.10.15. We'll just connect over to it directly. Because then what we'll do is we'll just check and see what was the... Damn it, what was the actual error that came up in the Ludus server? Execute module, computer source server not responding. The target computer is either turned off or remote scheduled task management firewall rules are disabled. All right, why did that not work? Oh, because it did, damn it. It did like 154 instead of 15. Trying to hit the wrong IP address. All right, let's pull up the site server. Ah, there we go. Much better. All right, what is it? We'll do $cred's going to be get credentials. And then I think this is... I think it's Ludus / do... We'll do domain admin. I think that's it. And I think the password is just password. And then what we'll do is we'll do it enter PS session. Computer name will be cert server. And then we'll do credential should be $cred. Yeah, we're there. Okay. So it's able to connect over to it now. Fun fact, I actually used this exact same method whenever I was compromising a municipality and their police department. They thought they had them separated, but they ran City Hall and the police department on the same domain. So when I compromised City Hall, I just went from one domain controller, basically doing this exact thing, rode the link over to the police department, and then had full access to their domain controller. Because once I was the domain admin, you were just a domain admin. All right, so that should be working now. Wonder if I should rerun it. Let's see. Once DA, always DA. That's right. Let's see. So this is the cert server. Let me go check. Let's check services. We'll see if... What's this one? Services.msc. Oh, sorry. No, we want to look for CCM. SMS. No. what's this? I forgot what the name of the service that runs in here. I think it's actually got to be in the M's, like probably Microsoft server or something. Passport, Edge, Defender. MCP Management Service, is that it? No, that's not it. Got the DA's office too? Trifecta. Yo, dog, I heard you were DA. So we got your DA in the DA. They were actually really appreciative of like everything we did during that assessment. And actually, I got calls from other municipalities that they were peers with that wanted to work with us. So that was really nice. Basically got referral business from poning them. Let me see if this PowerShell command will work. What I'm trying to check is invalid namespace. All right, let me try it over here. This one's not going up. What about on the workstation? Hold on, what is the workstation's IP address? Workstation is 10.9.10.11. 10.9.10.11. Call this one workstation. Let's connect over to it because I think it should be managed by SCCM. No, let me change that. In fact, here, you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna no, not duplicate. Damn it, wrong button. Let's delete that one, and let's delete this other connection out of here. Delete. Let me double check something. Are these guys logging in as the domain admin? Oh, they are. I shouldn't have deleted that then. Oh, well, that's fine. We could still duplicate this one. And we'll just change it from domain admin to domain user. This will be the workstation. Damn it. What was the IP? 10.9.10.11. Okay. 10.9.10.11. And we'll just change the credentials real quick. So rather than domain admin, this will be our domain user. And then we'll connect over to Le Workstation. There we go. So let me copy this command again. I don't know if this one's actually going to work in here. Let's see. Good old, not ice. I don't want. Just give me regular vanilla PowerShell. Okay, so none of these are managed by SCCM then. What was Bloodborne, Bobby? I don't think I ever saw that. Was that a game or a movie? I think that sounds like a game. Oh, from Dark Souls. I never played Dark Souls. I'm kind of surprised I never did. But yeah, Dark Souls is one of the ones I just have not gotten a chance to play yet. Okay. So we got our workstation up. What we need to do is do one more thing. We need to set up. That's it. We'll just add a new connection here because we're going to have to set it up from scratch anyway. Let's call this one Kate's Master. And I got something in my eye. Which one? Okay, fine. I don't know what. Why are you even gonna let me console us. It's always console us. All right, we'll do this like 18 font, whatever. There you go. What was the control plane node? 10.9.20.1. So let me edit this one. 10.9.20. And for credentials, I think this one is going to be Ubuntu. That's usually how they do this. Let's see. That didn't work. Is it maybe Ubuntu and... Ubuntu. Did I spell it right? Hold on. Because like on Debian, it's Debian. Hey, Melon, what's up? Kubernetes, screech! Is this a Pi or a kind of x86? So this is actually on our on a Dell T7600 server that's running Ludus. So we're deploying it as part of an AD lab, and I'm thinking that it might be kind of like the initial foothold into the lab. We'll run something like a vulnerable web eventually. Right now, I just wanted to tinker with Kubernetes. I'm on a current penetration test where I'm having to do a lot of hacking on Kubernetes. So this is kind of a refresher, a little bit of a side quest, have a little funsies. And as I think through this, though, we're also building up a lab eventually focused heavily on Active Directory that is going to be for testing out an AI hacking agent. So I was thinking, actually, when we do this, Kate's might be a nice place like as a starting point. So maybe we put some kind of a vulnerable web server into the lab, and then once you compromise it, you get access into the container. But then you've got to privest the container. And then once you privest the container, you can break out of it, maybe steal a secret, and that gives you something to then pivot you into the Active Directory environment. Yeah, I haven't messed with... So I'd use Docker all the time. A big Docker... I wouldn't say I'm a giant Docker nerd, but kind of. All right, hang on. I need to go pull up the Ludus docs real quick. Because... Actually, you know what? Hang on. Got another idea. It's a local user and password? No. Is that it? Let me try that. Okay, so it didn't like that. So local user, and then we'll do I can't type password. That's it? Okay, that's weird. Normally it's always been like whatever the default setup was for it. Let me change that real quick. Okay. Local user, and this will be sort of, let me just save that. Yeah, sure. Apply now. I'm a giant Docker nerd. My last decent project for solo dev had roughly 47 entries in a Docker Compose. Wait, you had like 47 different services in a Docker Compose? Because that's nuts. Damn. That's a big environment. Multi-env Docker Compose? I have not. What is that? That sounds pretty sick. Okay. Hold on. I gotta finish setting up KubeGoats in here. Let's see. What was the command he sent in here? Here we go. All right, so we got to sh. We need to sudo up, and we're gonna chmod. We got to go to temp Kubernetes goat. So let's go over to that. So temp. Did it not do it? Why didn't it show up in here? Why you not show up? We had that in the template, right? Oh, I didn't put it in the template. Yeah, I did. Install Kubernetes Goat. True. Rude. All right, you know what we can do? We'll come back to this. Hang on, let me duplicate this. Oh, being able to do like test, dev, and prod environments. Oh, okay. Yes, I have seen that for Compose. I didn't know it was called like multi-env or anything like that. Some environments need different deployment info, so you don't want to maintain the config. And yes, okay, I have seen those kind of configs. Yes. Let's see. Where's our tasks in here? So what is he? Let's. We're just gonna read the Ansible real quick. Check out repository from. Okay, so if that's the case, we just need to go back to whatever our variables are, which I think are in. Is it in here? No, it's not in here. Is it files? Oh, he's even got Cilium where you could install that. Cilium is actually really cool, and that's something else I need to test out and play with. Oh, it must be in defaults. Duh. It's in the defaults main YAML. Alright, we'll just clone this down. Copy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll just git clone that sucker. I wonder why it didn't save it though. So do you do a lot of deving on on Ruby on Rails? Assuming that's what you meant by Rails. That's the only time I ever hear people refer to Rails. Rails nerd too. Rails and Docker nerd. Putting the Docker. Actually, I guess technically putting the Rails on the Docker. Dude, this is a big download. It's running slower than I would have expected. Although, my internet has been very, very flaky the last 2 weeks. It's been hella annoying. But I mean, so far, everything looks like it's running fine. Alright, we'll just wait for this to clone down. I'll have to go double check and figure out why it didn't directly deploy. But once this downloads, then we can actually go through and we'll deploy kubegoats in there. And we can start actually doing a little bit of hackage and having some fun. Actually, I'll tell you what, while this is working, let's go get into the dev system. We'll just repurpose this one. Call this one dev box. And what was the IP for dev? That was 10.9.10.250. Let's go get into that one. 10.9.10.250. right there. And then what do our creds need to be? The creds for this one need to be Debian. Unless they changed it on me. Nope, there we go. Cool. Came right up. All right, I need to... Let's sudo up in here, and then apt update. Then, what is it? What's the command I need? That's not the one I wanted. I know there's got to be a meta package in here. Do you know of a way to force expire the I have sudoed recently? I think in... I believe there's a config file in there where you can tell it, hey, you can tell it I want to basically set the timeout for when you have to sudo again. Oh, can we do that? There we go. So when this Debian system ships, it ships hella thin. So what I want to do is have it come through and basically set up a lot of creature comforts in this Debian system. So I don't have to just stop and apt install every 5 minutes. Like, do we have Vim? We don't have Vim? Kill me, Smalls. Alright. Apt install the Vim. I think it's net tools, and what else do I want? I want tmux in here. Is it net tac tools? There we go. Want that if config. My entire empire is a stack of Zen VMs all crushing Debian. Nice. Oh, I forgot it out there. Crap. That's all right. Because what I want to do now is also over here, we'll go pull down this AI pen testing system. We'll give it a shot. We'll just copy that. Oh, you know what we're going to need to do? We're going to need to... Actually, do we need to install Docker? Damn it. Crap. I thought I put... You're supposed to have Docker. Why the hell did everything skip? Kate skipped. The Docker install skipped. This is bogus. I always have Vim alias to buy because it sets up my OCD when I have to type 3 letters. All right, let's get this going. Hey, Volgo, thanks for coming online, man. All right, let's see. I'm just going to set up Docker real fast on here because this thing is being a turd. Let's see. And now we should be able to do sudo apt update. All right. All right, we're just installing Docker real fast in here. Then we'll have to close out this SSH session, bring up a new one, and then we'll throw it all into good old tmux. So, actually, I need to do one more thing. The user. I gotta remember what that command is. It is user mod. Okay. Sudo. Let's see. User mod. Do that. Add to group, Docker, Debian. In this case, Debian is just our current user in here. All right, so then we'll close that, bring it back up. Imagine being an Emacs user with all the typing. I really wanted to like get into Emacs. I could not stand it. I tried. Now granted, I didn't try for very long, but yeah, I did try, and it hurt my soul. Oh, there we go. Back in my beautiful Tmux in here. All right, so I gotta get what's the URL for the repo? Let me clone this down here. Urgh. Sudo apt install yet. Hold on, I need to fix some stuff in here. All right, this one right here. I gotta fix this. This could be LA, and then I'm gonna do another one. Alias, and then that's going to be sudo apt install tacy. Yep, that's what that's going to be. Because I'm going to get so damn frustrated with typing sudo apt install tacy. Now I have an alias for it. Just fucking get. All right, there we go. Now, go git clone this. I wanted Emacs real bad back in the day because it had better syntax highlighting, and they nailed internal documentation with a different syntax way earlier than anyone else. Actually, I really like there's so many systems that I want to configure to be helpful that I take the lazy route in a lot of things. So, for example, a lot of people don't like Omarchy or Omarche, whatever however you want to pronounce it, because they're like, the whole purpose of Arch is you're supposed to customize and do it yourself. It's like, I kind of like it because there's so much other stuff I have to configure and work with. I don't want my operating system to be one of them. I'm not sure how to say that name. I'm gonna go with Math. Thanks for coming online. I'll take the out of the box customized one. I will too. And I was running it on, I don't have the laptop over here, but a very old ThinkPad that I love, and it is still, the thing's a freaking cinder block. It is so heavy. And so I don't want to have to go through and try to maintain an entire Git repo of like customizations I've done to an operating system. Especially when I'm real prone to just blowing the operating system away and switching to another one. Okay. So we got this pent AGI thing in here. Oh, I forgot. We got to double check something. Docker PS. Okay. Docker's working. Let's just do something real quick. Docker run. I think it's hello tac world. Yeah. Let's just make sure Docker's running. Okay, cool. Docker's up and running. Good. Let's see. Where is our quick start? Quick start. You're not going to take me to it, are you? Installer. Here we go. Okay, I guess we could have just gone through and like downloaded the latest version in here. There we go. Hey, Hex, what's up, man? Well, thanks for coming online. So we're working on kind of two different avenues in here. There was an interesting little tool called Pent AGI that's supposed to be Advanced Powered Penetration Tester. And I've been working on setting up the home lab to have a combination of Kubernetes and Active Directory in it. So we're working on the Kubernetes part right now, and we're gonna throw up Kate's goat for now, just to go tinker around with it. I'm actually doing a penetration test right now where I'm doing just a ton of stuff in Kubernetes. So I'm working on, I need a refresher on this. and wanted to take a break on some other stuff. So I decided, let's kick off a side quest. We're going to go hack around on some Kubernetes. And what I need to do is... They don't have the env example in there? Hold on. That doesn't sound right. They do have the env example. Okay, so let's copy env example to our .env. Let's go vim it. I'm sure we've got... Don't need that. Let's see. So we need a provider YAML? Okay, this sounds like it sucks. We'll leave that for now, but I'm gonna take the Slacker route. I'm gonna download their nice little installer here. Do I have unzip? I don't. Unzip, and what was this file called? Installer. Alright, so after we get the installer, we just run it. Let's see if they got a nice installer. Ooh, pretty. Can you read the EULA? Yes, I have read the whole EULA. Accept. Alright, configure language model providers. Let's see. We'll use... custom. All right, hang on. I got to go get the details from OpenRouter real quick. Ooh, I don't remember where that is. API keys. Here we go. All right, hang on. I don't want any of y'all to see this, so I'm going to drag this over here. Okay, got that. Got the API key. I need to figure out what the... I got to figure out what the base URL is for it. Let me grab this real quick. I gotta find out what the... Alright, you suck. Lame? Okay.
So
OpenRouter base URL. What is this?
To store 4 minutes of audio. But if we delete everything that the brain can't hear, we can make the files much smaller. Your brain is what processes all the stuff that you get through your ears. So the first thing is, you have a limited...
I was doing the exact same thing, except I was using Claude with Hexstrike. I have been meaning to go back and actually look at Hexstrike because I looked at it when it first came out and it was in really, really rough shape. But I think the primary... Maybe you can actually tell me about this because I'm in the Discord, but I don't actively follow it. It looked like the fellow that initially made it, I think, kind of handed it off to a community edition. I think they're trying to do a professional edition also. And no, Mel, I do not have like a local Docker registry. I probably could go set one up real quick. Okay, I think this should be it. B1. All right, hang on. I have to, unfortunately, hold on. I'll save that for last. Let's check with what model. Hey, what model should we use for this? Something available on OpenRouter. Let's see.
You would think that you would hear a different thing, but you don't. Now this one,
Kimmy's good, but Claude does things better. See, that's what I don't know. Like, I've been meaning to actually go through and try a couple of the different ones in here.
some of those things, magic.
Let's see.
The pitch rising.
Supported parameters.
And this happens all sorts of ways. So you can
I'll tell you what, let's just search for Claude in here. We could just maybe stick with like Sonnet 4.6. Sonnet 4.6 is still a little bit expensive though. $15 per million output tokens. At that rate, and also with 3 million coming in, with no prompt caching,
that was probably what it was. One of the cool things your brain can do
is Quinn available? It should be. They've got just about everything on here.
if you have hearing damage, you'll actually hear ringing in the same frequency range as the damage is in. So
Actually, hold on. This is the mixture of experts model. Maybe we'll just give this one a try.
neurons that used to process that frequency are dead.
Because this is a 122 billion parameter model, but it's a mixture of experts. So you only actually have 10 active at a time. 10 billion active like in a go.
Your brain really likes to react to things. Are all in the same audio range as the
What's the pricing on it? Let's see.
between 2 and 4 kilohertz, and your brain really
About 40 cents per million input tokens and less than $3 per million output tokens. Okay.
that sounds like it's continually going down, and it will keep going forever. But actually,
Let's see. I've already got my API key. So here we go. So we'll specify this as the model. Yeah, we'll try that. Quinn 3.5, 122 billion.
you also have. So if you hear a pin, but it has a hole in the middle, so it actually stops.
Oh, Volga, you were testing Pent AGI, but honestly didn't like it. It's true that I was using Gemini, and I usually use Hexstrike plus MCP to Claude. Some training sessions, and it brings some very interesting things. So you're saying you are preferring Hexstrike over like Pent AGI? Because I have been meaning to go back and try Hexstrike again. I honestly have. I could honestly, if we wanted to, I could go wire up Claude code and we could add Hexstrike to it and let it give it a shot. I do have internal DNS, yes, with DNS level ad blocking and filtering and stuff. No, I don't run Active Directory internally at home. I'll tell you what, for this, that's actually not a bad idea though, Volgo. Because I have been meaning to go back and try out Hexstrike again. I was waiting for it to get a big update, and then actually I saw that they had one. Config path? I don't know. What's legacy reasoning?
And you dub out the sound and put in a different sound, then the person will actually hear it. It's crazy how multimodal the brain is in respect to hearing.
I don't know what to do for legacy reasoning. All right, hang on one sec. I'm going to drop into OPSEC mode so I can drop in the API key and hopefully not dox it. In fact, hang on. I'm going to modify it real quick while I'm doing this. Spending limit, $5.
So one way to do this is called the
There we go.
threshold of hearing or equal loudness curves. Basically, this is how well you can hear at different ranges. So you can hear really well at this bottom part. And at the
No,
lower
don't do that.
range, you
Okay,
can hear
now what do I do?
well, at a certain point, you can delete
Okay, so
all
that's
those.
done.
You can't hear very well because you can't hear them anyway. There's also masking. And in masking,
Okay,
you have
there we go.
sound
Drop out of OPSEC mode here.
just tied to other
Close that. Don't save. There we go. All right. Configure text vectorization for semantic search and knowledge.
And the weird thing about masking is it even works in time. So even if
They really want you to use...
it will disappear. And it also disappears as well as out. And those kind of things.
They're really into OpenAI in here, and I don't have anything for that. Yeah, I think so, Hex. Let's see. General summarization, size management. I don't know. Can I just leave all this blank? I mean, it's cool that they have all these options in here. Search engines. Oh, I had to go through and actually like configure these. I don't think I even have a Perplexity. Let me see here. So I'm working on this on the other screen in here. I thought I had a Perplexity setup in here. All right, so what do I do for this in here? I think I need to see if I can find my EPI key. Because I don't feel like I'm not going to set up all of these. I think I'm just going to do. Actually, you know what? I have a Tavily key. I do know I have one of those. We'll set up Tavily in here. Yeah, here we go. We'll add one in here. And AGI. Okay, hang on. Got to go back into OPSEC mode. Let me go set up the Tavily key real quick. This is stupid. In Tavily, it actually... Here, I'll show you. It actually stars it out, but it didn't in the other one. That's funny. Docker environment. Let's see. Yeah, I'll just leave that as default. All right, what else we got here? Monitoring. We could throw it into Langfuse. Do I have to go set up Langfuse for this, though? Not sure. Oh, actually, hang on. I forgot. I gotta do something. I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. I realized I left Peaches outside. I was like, I put her out at the beginning of the stream because she was throwing a fit. And I was like, oh no, she's been outside for like 2 hours. So I had to go let her in. All right, let's see here. So do we need to, I think we have to go, I guess, connect it over to Langfuse. Embedded server. I don't think I have to change any of this stuff. I guess we could do an embedded server. Let me see, how much RAM did I give this box? Let's see, where's dev? 16 gig. Oh yeah, we're good. I gave this box a lot of RAM. Nice. She doesn't even care. Come here, Peaches. Hang on. Come here, Peaches. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. There you go. Come on. This is Peaches. This is Peaches. I would have named her Debbie because she looks like a little Debbie Swiss roll. That'd be good. Yeah, sweet up, girl. But she's actually got her girlish figure now. When I first got her, she was round. She was round. She was a chunk. Hello, baby. Who's your good girl? Yes, you are. Okay, here. No, it's okay. Chill. Unless I'm sitting in the recliner in the living room, she gets skittish about being in my lap. But it's funny because she always wants to sit in my lap. She's like, can I do that? I was like, I'm not in the recliner. And she pretends like it's okay. But then she's like, nope, I don't like it. So that's all set up in here. Tools. Apply changes, sure. Right. Let me go look at the latest version of Hexstrike, by the way. Hold on, let me pull it up in Discord real fast. Where did I have that? Believe, here it is. Yeah, because this didn't used to be, I don't know what Common Human Lab is, but this wasn't the original creator of Hexstrike. Originally, it was done by another fella in here, and it just doesn't even show up as a fork, so this is like a completely different setup in here. I tell you what, let's go ahead and clone that down as well. There we go. Because then what we could do is, let's see. Let's go ahead and we'll set up Claude Code in here as well. Yeah. Because I don't have a desktop environment for this. Local bin's not in your path. Okay, yeah, let me go fix that real quick. There we go. All right. Cool, so now we'll have Claude in here. Source, -rc. All right, hang on. You drop into OPSEC mode here. Let me double check something real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to do. Stand by. Gotta fix something here. I don't know if I'm even logged into any of these windows. Okay. Let me clear this out. Okay. So I did have Claude Code installed and authenticated. So okay. Currently Pent AGI is installing, so that's good. And this did finally finish. So let's go get over to kubegoats. And then I gotta remember what the freaking command is that we're looking at. Where do we have that? So we got Hextrack already. I think we got that set up. Then let me grab this right here. Okay, so what we want to do is our access Kubernetes goat. We want to chmod that. There we go. Hold on. Actually, exit. My local user? I am. All right, hang on. Let's do this over in T-Bucks. There we are. All right. So that's what we want. Okay. So chmod our access goats sh, and then we're gonna run that, I believe. Yep, so that should be good. Please click check kube control setup. Dude, did this just not finish deploying at all? Damn it. Rude. Okay. Let's just see if we can just get this guy going directly. Because it looks like kube control did not set up correctly. I don't know. Let me check. RIP. Also, hey Dead Click, what's up, man? Happy Saturday. Alright, what is going on here? You know what I just realized? Hold on. One of these failed, but these all had like 50 skipped in here. So all these are for install Kubernetes Go. Let's do Kate's. So this should have had Ludus role install Kate's. What the hell? Why did it skip it? Skipping, oh wait, hold on, because it should have been for 80 lab workstation. Yeah, that should have been skipped. Let's see. I'm just going back through the logs that we've got in the back scroll real quick. This is just it saying it's skipping applying this role to these particular machines, because those are the SCCM machines. They don't need Kubernetes. Localhost, localhost. Okay. That should be the worker node. Control plane. No, don't tell me I'm missing that. Oh, I'm gonna be pissed at myself if I miss that. Let's see. It's AD Lab is the user. Nope, that's not it. Kate's this one. Yeah, so it defaults as a front node, which would have been a cluster master. So we specified this one as a worker node. This one up here should have defaulted as being a cluster master. So we should have been good there. What else do we got in the logs here? Are we seriously at the bottom here? Rip, what is going on? All right, so this is something that can happen sometimes. Where sometimes it just completely, like, I don't know, blows past some of the Ansible roles that it's supposed to be applying to these machines. It happens sometimes with Ludus. So one of the most common ways to fix it is you just go back through and you just redo the deployment. Because it should, in theory, already have a check and skip what it's already done. But we'll see. That's wild that Kubernetes didn't finish doing the install here. What about on the worker node? It's because those boxes are rebooting. So our worker node, that one was 10.9.2020. I'm going to do this. I'm going to duplicate this one. And then we'll just have our worker node. There we go. Let's save that. Boop. And let me see if I can connect over to it. Did you get Docker? Actually, I don't know if Docker is a prerequisite for installing Kubernetes. Usually, I think it's usually actually using containerd. So it should. And this one didn't even get kubectl. So what the hell? Like, it just blew past all the configuration setup. Rude. Hey, no problem, Hex. But it looks like for some reason... Oh, hold on. So I was setting up Pent AGI, and it did not like that in here. All right, hold on. While this is doing this, I gotta try something real quick. Let's see. Hang on, let me drop into OPSEC mode real fast so I can try something real quick. That did not work. Oh, probably because I didn't source it. Hang on 1 second. No, that didn't work. Failed to update LangView stack. Failed to wait for command to exit 1. Alright, so what happened here? See if we can get it to pull down this time. Well, that is fugly. Oh. So Hex, I was going to ask, since you had mentioned you were using Hexstrike, what's been the state of Hexstrike? Because I haven't really looked into it. I've been trying to kind of keep tabs on it when it first got released, and I'm curious to see like where it's going to. Because now there's the community edition. I've got that cloned down. I was going to throw it into Claude Code, so we'd have something else we could kind of tinker around with and play with. But where did the community edition even like spawn from? Yeah, it was really rough when it was first released, and I was waiting for it to get like kind of like a refactor. Yeah, so I've been trying to keep up with it, but the last like kind of announcement that I saw was, hey, by the way, we've now got the community edition released from Common Human. And the other one was from what's his name? I don't remember his original name up there. And so I'm curious to see it because like I said, I've got it up and running. The main thing is I want to make sure I want to make sure something real quick. This said it should have worked. I don't know why it didn't. Maybe I have to go to set that in the settings JSON. Let's see. Why is there no settings.json in here? So far, I think it's pretty good enough for the recon bits. All right, I want to go test it out because I've been meaning to. I was waiting for the update. The update happened, like at least the new community update. That was the one I was kind of waiting for. And in the announcement, they said that the community edition isn't a replacement for version 7, but it was for people to basically be able to like experiment with it. I was like, okay, cool. But I was trying to figure out like where the project is heading, like what's going on with it, because there hasn't been really much in the announcements as far as that. That's why I was curious. Hey, Cypher, what's up, man? Oh, Bobby! Bobby is now an initial access broker because he has just gifted 9 shells to the team. I'm glad to see that the buffer overflow actually worked. Although I need to double check it. I can't tell. It looks like it doesn't. Oh, dang it. I think I broke the tracker in it. It's supposed to count how many times the buffer's been overflowed. Damn it. I have to go fix that now. Bobby, thank you so much, man. Dude, you started a level 3 hype train all by yourself. Bobby's not going crazy. Bobby's always been a little crazy. But that's why we love him. If this is, I'll have to message him and ask him if he has tried this. Maybe, I don't know if there's maybe an issue with Ludus version 2. But if this is the same Andrew Luke that I think it is, I think I know that guy. This guy, Swamp Fox? I'm pretty sure I know him. Maybe it didn't like this part right here. Let me check something. I want to see if I can find something real fast. Because I did do a little bit of an experiment on there. So, for example, over here. Right, I tried to see if it would actually dynamically use the range ID value in here to help out with that. But it may not have. Oh, that's why that didn't work. It inferred the range ID as AD lab. So that ain't right. That would explain why it was going nuts in here. So instead of like, I think it's 10-9, it put some kind of string in there. Ah, come on, brother. Oh, it's because range ID is the frickin'. That's not the range second octet. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Nope. No. Hold on. Let me bust out of this. So this should have been 9. It should have been 10.9.20.1. All right, let's go. Let's fix this. I thought I was going to be slick. Nope. There we go. What necessitates Kubernetes? I am currently on a penetration test right now, Cypher, where it is heavy into Kubernetes. So I'm kind of at a point where I'm reconsidering the architecture for Hackbot. So I was like, you know what? Let's go throw a little bit of Kubernetes into the AD lab, and then we could also go through and modify it. We could firewall a lot of the network off. Yeah, it is fun. It's a lot of it though is like trying to like untangle Christmas lights. Yeah. All right, Hex. Take care, man. Have a great night. Thanks for stopping in, brother. If we needed it to, yes, but we're not going to be putting that kind of a workload on it, Cypher. So what we're going to be doing is throwing in like we're going to be throwing in a damn vulnerable version of Kubernetes, right? We could, yes. However, the AI agents don't typically need a lot of compute power. You can run them pretty slim. You can't untangle Christmas lights, you just buy new ones. I know. I thought about buying a voltage detector, Ken, just so I could like figure out which lights in my string were broken and then replace them. And then I completely forgot about it. I was so busy around Christmas. It's not a lack of imagination. It's just some things are overkill. I'm not going to need to hyperscale to levels that Kubernetes would be efficient with it. All right, we'll see if Cubes actually gets installed this time. I don't know why it skipped it. The best kind of kill is overkill. That's right. Oh, Clark Griswold, man. Unplug this. I got this, actually. Knock that down. I actually got this kind of cool timer. This thing. So it's like a, kind of like a Pomodoro timer, but it's got different numbers on it. So when you set it down, right? So like, it looks like it's, hold on, I got to turn it on, I think. Is it on? There we go. So for example, like if I turn it to the 10 side and put it like this, ow, shit, drop it. It starts counting down like that, right? Kind of cool. So I got this to test out for trying to actually like not just work for 4 hours straight and actually like get up and walk around. So I'll let y'all know how it works. All right, what else could we do with this real quick? I'm trying to figure out something also, because I don't want to just go doxing my email address. For some reason over here, Claude is just completely ignoring a lot of what I want to do. Let's see. Let me see if I can find something real fast here. Yeah, I think I could try that. Let me see here. I'm not sure why this is not working, but we'll throw this in here. Let's see. env. See if I can get this to work in here. So I set this environment variable elsewhere. Hang on. We go into object mode and test this real quick. That did not work. All right, that is unfortunate. Let me... So it looks like they might have broken something in the latest version. Oh, I think I see the issue here. Hold on, stand by. Okay, there we go. That did it. Because now I can actually go through and look at getting Hexstrike set up real quick. We'll set it up in Claude Code real fast while everything else is still churning in here. Oh, I think I closed it. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, V&V? Gross. Oh, I wish I could just use UV. All right, there we go. All right, so we got the virtual environment set up, and then we'll go ahead and source that. Should we run that as root? Nah. All right, and then now that we've got that, let's go ahead and get all the prereqs installed. All right, let's get this guy kind of up and running here. We hit a following issue though. Oh, we need Python 3.12. Damn it. That's a bummer. I don't think this Debian 12 repo has Python 3.12, unfortunately. Let me deactivate real quick. I don't think it does. Python 3.12. I don't know if we've got that in here. We have 3.11. Oh, there's no dash in there. That's what the problem is. Oh, crap. Let me see if I can find a Python version manager in here to make that easy. I think we could just use UV also. That doesn't look like it's gonna work. We could use the backport of 312. I don't know if I want to, though. Alright, it's almost time to wrap up, so let's check it on the server. Alright, it's still going through here, doing its thing. Unfortunately, the Ludus setup takes forever for SCCM. So that is unfortunate. A likely story. It's a very likely story. Hang on. I want to double check something real quick before I go. Okay, that did work. Awesome. Okay. Actually, let me do something real quick. CD to hex strike. So we have an agents MD. We do not have, like... We do have a .clod directory, but I think we just made that one. Literally, like... maybe not right now. What's the date right now? No, it came with it. What's in .clod? Skills? Ooh, what skills do we have? Binary analysis, cloud audit, nmap recon, password cracking, SMB enumeration. Ooh. I like. Very cool. Dude, Cypher, I have not been doing a lot of labbing since we've been working on Hackbot, right? But also, Uncle Flint, thank you for coming online. I haven't really been doing a lot of that since we've been working on Hackbot, and so I want to kind of get back into it some more, especially for things like this. Also, whenever we kind of rebuild Hackbot eventually, it's going to need a lab to kind of like test things against. So I think that's going to be a big part of it. Let's see. Let's see. Check how we can run this with... Actually, you know what I need to do? I need to actually go install UV. Let me try one more thing real quick before we wrap up for tonight. There we go. I knew it was just a bash curl. Curl bash. Do we have UV? We do. Awesome. Ultra. Claude's gonna be able to figure this out faster than I can go freaking Google it. Hey, Nox, thanks for coming online. Welcome in. I want to see if I can at least get this going real quick before we do this. Oh, so we could just go ahead and create the virtual environment with UV. Okay. Let's see. I gotta remember how to do that. How do we set up Python 3.12 with UV? Would I rather work at Google or XAI? Well, out of curiosity, I did go look at what it would take to work at XAI. I was just curious, like, and they only do on-site, and they don't do like anything in Texas. I think their office was based in Tennessee, and I'm not really itching to move my family out of Texas because all of our family's like right around here. So with that being the case, I would probably go with Google just because they probably have a work from home setup. Memphis. Oh yeah. Yeah. Dude, I have been working from home pretty much nonstop since more or less since 2020. So I was like, I'm not really looking to give that up. Okay, so let's do UV Python install. If I can type real quick. I just want to see if I can get this running real fast. There we go. Now we've got it. All right, so. All right, and then let's go set up our UV environment real quick. UV VNV. We'll call this extract.in. Yes, replace it. All right, and then let's source that bad mamma jamma. Then activate. Boop. There we are. All right, and then we can do UV pip install tacr requirements. Let's get those going. Oh, I love UV. I hope UV stays awesome after OpenAI bought them. Dude, you've been working from home since 2004? Damn. Before that, I was trying to do Navy from home, but that was too hard. Unless you live on a boat. Oh no, this is... UV's like, you beat, son. We can conclude that your requirements are unsatisfiable. Oh, that's funny. Rip. OpenAI bought Astral, and Astral makes UV. So, yeah. It looks like the folks over at Anthropic are going all in on like Bun and JS, and the folks over at OpenAI are going really all in on Python. So, yeah, Max. Since I'm still working on re-architecting Hackbot, and I'm currently on a penetration test where it's very heavy on Kubernetes, I was like, let's take a little bit of a chill pill from working on Hackbot, since I don't really have a lot to work with on stream, and let's go do some home labage. Let's go build it out. We're going to need the home lab anyway for whenever we want to go test Hackbot. So also as a fun aside, I've got Pent AGI installing. We're going to kind of tinker with that. And I'm trying to get Hexstrike set up right now. Dude, I don't know how... it feels like Google is really like coming in a distant third from everybody. Aside from Nano Banana, I don't know anything that they're doing that people are getting kind of like interested in. There's one more thing. Notebook LM is actually really cool, but it's not getting a lot of adoption. Why did this go away? Let me clear that out. Oh, sorry, I missed your earlier message, Knox. XAI merged with SpaceX, and space data centers make it seem like the future, so that's a hard problem. Dude, if I was a younger man with the same knowledge and did not have a family, I would probably say that XAI is doing a lot more faster, quicker, but also I fully acknowledge that's also going to be a harder working environment. And so It's gonna be one of those ones where I feel like you'd be married to the job for a while. My daughter said her teacher loads all of her study material into Notebook LM and makes her own podcasts, quizzes, and stuff for the students to study off. Ooh. Dude, and see, I think that's pretty chill, Rabbit, because I used to do that myself whenever I was in my classes at university. And I would go through and I would make study guides and I'd send them out to the whole class. And the reason I did that is everybody's like, God, that's such like a nerdy thing to do. It is, but also it was very self-serving because what did I have? If it sucked in any way, I would get zero feedback from anybody. And if it really sucked in certain ways, I would get feedback from people. So they were all my beta testers to come up with better, basically test prep material. Space data centers are such a meme. I don't know how they're going to solve the cooling problem. I mean, that's going to be a big deal. All right, I don't know what to do with this. Okay, let's see. You know what we can do with it? Let's see here. What solutions do we have for this issue? Let's ask it. I can't stand an AI podcast because I realize that I'm out. I understand, man. I'm there with you. Notebook LM actually does a pretty decent job. I haven't messed with the podcast feature, but being able to have like an isolated, like almost like super RAG system in there where I could load documents and ask questions about, that was kind of cool. I do like Notebook LM. I don't use it very much, but I think it's pretty cool. I loaded up all my physio notes and a bunch of sources on rehab exercises. Then I had Gemini go and ask, or I can go ask the notebooks to get new info from the internet. That's pretty cool. I ought to do that because my physical therapy has been cut by my insurance, unfortunately. So the conflict is fast. I know this is really hard to read. I need to come up with I think it's theme. The blue is just so blue against the black. Dark mode. It's so bad. I guess we'll try that. Let's see. So the conflict is fast MCP and typing extensions, but man-in-the-middle proxy pins to less than 414. Use override to force typing extension version. Hope nothing breaks. So Midim Proxy is a standalone tool, runs as its own process, so you don't need to share the same V&V. Remove it from the requirements and install it separately. I don't think we even have pipx installed, do we? Let's see. Okay, sudo. What the heck? Oh, let me exit the BNB here. That was not what I wanted to do. App search pipx. What the hell is going on? Another son of a... What is going on here? You can do what you can with pipx with UV. Oh, I do have UV installed. Wait, is there a UV install command? I actually did not know that about UV. Let's see. Oh, actually, would that be the UVX command? Right. Let me go see if I can find... I did not mean to do that. Let's see. Let me vim this real quick. Let me see if I can find the repo. Maybe we can just install it. Let's see. Yeah, there we are. Remove that requirement and install it on some. Let's do that. Let's just... We'll just comment that one out, and then... So you're saying UV tool install git plus and then the repo. Okay, let's go try that. Hold. Yeah, I like UV. I'm really hoping OpenAI helps it grow. And though I'm not sure exactly how it would do that, but I'm hoping it doesn't let it wither and die on the vine. I don't think they would. And honestly, OpenAI has been more open than Anthropic, which is kind of funny considering OpenAI is not really open, but they've been more open than Anthropic. I like that idea of middle proxy since it's a terminal has at least partially Vim-like syntax. Unfortunately, it's not capable as burp, something I put as a part of the proxy chains. I've never used midim proxy. Now there actually is a burp MCP, but I believe you have to have the pro license for that. Let's see. Burp Suite MCP. Actually, no, it's available for community and professional, so that would be another option. Although for this particular one, we'll stick with midim proxy since this is how it's been configured and set up. All right, so now, let's see. Oh, I gotta go resource the. What is it? I gotta resource the ENV here. Source bin activate. And then, I think it's UV install. Was that it? Nope, that wasn't it. What was the command I needed? There we go. All right, so we took out midim proxy. That way it'll be standalone, and then now it can do its own thing here. What is this one now? Damn it. Failed to build Psycop G2. It may not like this Debian 12 system. I think there may be a Debian 13. Let's see. Trying to find it real quick. No, that's not it. It's just this one. No, that's not it. Where's the one from GitLab? There we go. Hang on. Ludus, and then... Sorry, I've got this in another... Let me bring this over here so y'all can see this. Let's see, where is our templates? They do have a Debian 13 now. Debian 12 must be like the really old one. Because we don't have that in there. Let's see if we can get it added in. Real quick. Let's pop back over to the Ludus server. And we'll just reconfigure this sucker here. Let's see. Ludus templates list. I'm pretty sure all we have in here is like Debian 12, and it was built a long time ago. Okay. So cd to Ludus templates, and then we will do Ludus templates add this directory Debian 13. Okay, and then now we'll do Ludus templates build now list, and then we'll do a build, and we'll tell it to just build that particular one right there. Debian 13 template. All right, we'll let that build, and then what we're going to do is we're going to vim the Kate's lab, and let's find every instance of Debian in here. We'll leave dev. Dev can damn it, no. Nope. I want to try something. Do this. Hold on. Template like that. I'm going to do that. Just yank that sucker. And then put that. Let's comment that one out. Then dev will do the same thing. We'll just go ahead and... I did that wrong. All right. As much as I hate to do this, we're going to blow the lab away. I'm going to get it restarted, and then we'll call it a night there. We'll let it rebuild overnight, and all the work we just did is just going to go... Yeah, we'll go ahead and we're going to blow them away. And we're going to try using Debian 30. I think that's 13. All right, let's go see. Make sure they actually got blown away. Let's see. Where is AD Lab? All right. AD Lab has nothing in it. Okay. So all of our work for tonight, nixed-nade. All right. Ludus range, deploy. Oh, crap, no. Abort. There we go. Make sure we didn't get anything. Because I just realized, I think there was something I need to... Yeah. Okay, hold on. No, no, stop it. RM, kill everything in here. I gotta double check and make sure that I actually changed the... Yeah, that's fine. Go away. Okay, I did change that. Because that was not working the way I wanted it to. And also, you know what I didn't do? I'm an idiot. Ludus range config. Set. We gotta set the new config file. Oh, dang it. It doesn't like it because the templates are still building. It shouldn't take long to build the Debian one in here. Well, for this particular one, the reason why we're using the UV VNV is because originally this was supposed to work with like a Python 3 virtual environment, 3.12 specifically. So that was why we went that route. But we'll still tinker with it. I'm going to have to pull down a new copy of it and reset up Claude Code because I just blew the lab away. This build should not take very long, hopefully. Oh crap, I just noticed like I'm way over time. Sokka's about to come yell at me here in a second. So unfortunately, we do got to wrap up for tonight. Let's see. Who's on? Is anybody on InfoSec streams? I hope so. Nope, nobody's on. Not even us. We're not even on. I need to message GoPro and see if the site has been working. Because it's not showing anybody online. Let's see who's on. Not too much going on in science and tech tonight. Oh, Rob is on. Heck yeah, we'll go right over to Rob. Senior RWX Rob. He's on right now. What's he talking about? Hang on.
Uh-oh, this is a problem. You see how I did the link wrong? You have to change that. I forgot that's the thing you have to change.
What's he working on? I'm trying to see what he's doing real quick before we go right over to him. He's doing a co-working stream. But it's good to see him streaming again because he stopped for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I hated it before that.
I think he's working on a story. That's cool. Yeah, we'll go right over to him. Oh, he did just... Yeah, he's been on for like 45 minutes. Okay, perfect. We'll go right over to him. All right, guys. Unfortunately, that's where I got to wrap it up. Boop. I will catch up with y'all tomorrow. I'm going to get the lab hopefully rebuilding tonight. So that way it'll be ready for us first thing in the morning. Well, first thing in the evening, because I'm not going to be back on until tomorrow night. But I hope you all have a wonderful Saturday. Thanks for coming to hang out and help me along with rebuilding the home lab, because I haven't done that in a while and I missed it. And there's some stuff I want to go tinker with. I want to break me some Kubernetes. So a lot of fun learning new things. We're learning by breaking. We hack around and find out. That's the name of the game. I hope you all have a fantastic Sunday tomorrow. Try to spend it with your friends and family. That is what Sundays are for. I'm going to go take the kids 4-wheel riding. If I get any cool videos, I'll show y'all tomorrow night. And I think that's it. Yeah, we'll do some more home labbing tomorrow night. We'll have some fun with it. So everyone, y'all take care. You have a fantastic day tomorrow. And I want you to remember one thing, and that is I love you. Peace.